The two brothers. I came to think of them as so dysfunctional they kind of went all the way around to functional again. Is that fair?
I don't know. It wouldn't be something I'd want to have a big argument about, I don't think. That seems fair enough, but I'd never thought of it in that way. Yeah.
It's hard to tell which brother's looking after which, and which one is the really damaged one.
Yeah, I think that's true. Hugh, the damaged brother, wasn't even in my mind at the very beginning. In the end, it becomes one of the, almost the spine of the book. And when you start thinking about a love story, well, that's a love story between them. I mean, it's a considerable love story. Well, I don't know what to say about it, except it's one of the pleasures of writing fiction, that you are forever discovering things that you didn't know that you were going to discover, and you've made characters who you've never met, who are very real to you, and they're like that. I feel ridiculous warmth for them. Isn't it pathetic?
Just people you've made up. Is it hard to let go of people you've made up because you've spent a lot of time with them?
No, but I've sort of just come to enjoy the sort of moment where other people are reading them and that the characters are sort of walking around in other people's heads, and just the thing of them having life and existence and people. When people say what you've just said, and I can see your feelings of affection for these two brothers, then I feel wonderful.
The love interest, Marlene, she was one of those women that just from the beginning, if he hadn't been an alcoholic, I think he would have just run.
Well, you see, his very first sense about it.
That's true.
Was he felt a powerful sense of antagonism. But it isn't really where he ends up. Because where he ends up at the end of the book, no matter what, crazy stuff, dark stuff happens at the end of the book, he does still love her.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not going to go looking for her, but he does still love her. And I mean, there are many. While Marlene reveals finally, a really extraordinarily amoral streak, shall we call it. I think, just at the same time, if we know people by their actions, there's many things about her that I think are really quite not inauthentic. I mean, at the very beginning, she likes Hugh. Mm-hmm. She can talk to Hugh.
But one of the few people who can.
Yeah, one of those unfortunate people who get on with Hugh. And, I never believed that was made up for a second. She's also really full of energy and life. I don't think, if you look at her drift into criminal behaviour, her dumb husband has left him in a hugely exposed situation. Up until that stage, she's not been forging anything, faking anything, or doing anything particularly. But they're now stuck with this fake painting, which somebody's paid millions of dollars for, and they can't afford to pay back, which they'd be responsible for. And that's when she steals the painting. And so. When we first meet her, she's not someone engaged in deep, continual criminal practice, but we are with her at a time when she does drift into that world and sort of stay there. There's a little hairline crack in the marble, which under pressure will reveal itself to be a serious flaw.
Artists are used to humiliation. We start with it and we're always ready to return to real failure, the shitty bottom of the barrel, the destruction of our talent by alcohol or misery. We live with the knowledge that alongside Cézanne or Picasso, we are no one. We're always no one, we've forgotten before we were in the ground. Shame, doubt, self-loathing, all this we eat for breakfast every day.
He's going on to talk about some other thing, I can't remember what now. But yeah, well, you do, if you're serious, I think if you're serious about your art, you really have to live with failure.
So if you had,
if you're going to walk on a tightrope, and if you're really going to set it high, and you're not going to have a net, which seems to me the only way to really have a chance to make anything serious, it's going to be very scary, and it might finally be beyond your skill level, and you might fall. And for me, that's at once terrifying and it's thrilling, and it's the only game, because if you're doing anything else, then why even bother? I mean, really, there is a big game that we're trying to play, and it doesn't, and we're probably not going to succeed at the big game. And the big game is to have made a really substantial work of art, Are we going to actually manage to do that? Well, probably not. The odds are against it. But that's what we're trying to do all the time. Well, that's what I'm trying to do all the time. And so the chances of failure on those things are pretty high. And I always try to work with something that's a little scary because I don't know that I can even do it. That's outside my range in some way.
I love seeing how you resolve things, though. I mean, it's fun to read the chances you take.
Oh, thank you.
The book is Theft. It calls itself a love story, and in a very twisted way it is. I've been speaking with the novelist Peter Carey and Theft, published by Random House of Canada.